Kids who grow up walking on eggshells, where they never know what to expect, from screaming, yelling, irritability to the silent treatment or stonewalling by parents. And we're talking about chronically, right? All parents have their bad moments, but a chronic pattern of eggshells often really struggle with a certain set of characteristics and their adaptations and survival skills, and they really shape who we are. And the thing is, many of us, though we might have been born sensitive, generally speaking, or think we're empaths, and we very well may be, which I also think is code for being often abused emotionally or more. The truth is that we think that these qualities are just who we are, and they are, but they've also really been shaped by our childhood. And so they don't have to be who we are all the time once you understand these things. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist. I also grew up this way. So let's go through some of the most common, really personality shaping qualities we experience. Number one, we're often easily triggered by other people's moods, emotions, vibes, behaviors, energy. It's like we're always predicting threat. Remember, the brain is wired to predict threat. That's just part of what we do. The brain makes predictions. Well, when you live in a repeatedly threatening environment, your brain starts to hyper focus on predicting threat. And then the more you do that, the more you strengthen the idea of threat. So it's this vicious cycle. So in your childhood, you learn that everything means something. Verbal, nonverbal behaviors, you become chronically hyper vigilant to people's like essence, if that makes sense, because you're always scanning and predicting threat. Number two, you're often a compulsive caretaker. You identify as an HSP or an empath. And like I said, you may have been born with a sensitive temperament, but I would argue that you were with these kind of caregivers where you never know what to expect and your safety, I'm talking fast, mental, physical, emotional safety depends on making interpretations. You become highly attuned to taking care of other people. What do you need? What do you want? What version of me is most pleasing? And that creates the heart of a lot of how you show up with other people, like being overly attuned to them and their needs. You're often a person who seeks solitude, feeling safest when you're alone, because that is the only time you don't have to predict threat. You're often perfectionistic, highly focused on overthinking, ruminating, and overfeeling, making mistakes before, during, and after, sending text messages, emails, voice memos. Like you're just hypercritical often of yourself. You often struggle with anger. Anger feels dangerous and unsafe. And as a result, you either self-silence and avoid conflict, and or maybe you do the same thing your caregivers did, and then you kind of spiral into shame. You often numb out or dissociate, kind of feeling more yourself when you're not fully present in some way, whether it's, substances, workaholism, whatever. And ultimately, you often feel what I call wary and weary in your own mind and body. This is often connected to that state of chronic stress and the long-term physical and mental impacts. We'll talk more in another video about some things you can do.